My 15-day unit plan is going to revolve around 4 main IEP goals, the first being a writing goal, the second being a pre-algebra math goal, the third is a transition goal, and the fourth is a social, emotional, behavioral goal. So all the activities you're going to see in my unit plan are going to be activities that are going to be helping my students work towards meeting those IEP goals, as well as my unit plan revolving around IEP goals. All the activities included in this lesson plan are going to hit one of Gardner's multiple intelligence or even multiple intelligences within one activity. The first activity in my unit plan is going to be geared more towards the student's writing goal. So students are going to be getting into groups of about 3, and they're going to be writing out a script talking about the 3 chemical bonds we've been learning about in chemistry. And they're going to be in groups of 3, so that way each student could take one of the 3 chemical bonds and write a script about how those bonds are created. Once students have their scripts made, they're then going to come to the teacher so the teacher could look over it. And once the teacher approves of their script, the students are then going to get an iPad and they're going to go into iMovie and they're going to record themselves acting out their script and teaching the class essentially how those 3 chemical bonds occur. So that process is going to take about 3 to 4 days, and then once the students are done making their iMovie, they're going to create a QR code to go along with their iMovie, and they're going to post those all around the class, and the students are going to go to each QR code with their phones, get a link to the video the students have created talking about the chemical bonds, and then leave comments digitally through Google Forms saying whether they liked it, what they could have improved on, and what they learned through each student's movie. So this first activity is gonna be an activity that supports the bodily kinesthetic learners in your class, the interpersonal learners, the verbal, as well as the musical learners. So for the next activity in my unit plan, students are going to be working on their third goal, which is their transition goal. So students are going to demonstrate knowledge of job qualification, job requirements, educational background, training, and degrees for various jobs of interest. So they're going to do that by identifying 5 requirements for each job that they find of interest. In order to map those things out, they're going to be using MindMeister. And once they have all that information input into MindMeister, they're then going to go to TED Ed lessons, and they're essentially going to create a virtual tour of that job of interest that they have. And the second activity is going to support your visual learners, your mathematical logical learners, your interpersonal learners, and the naturalists. So the third activity that I have in my unit plan is going to be more geared towards the students' math IEP goal. So they're going to be given a worksheet with 15 assorted addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division equations and inequalities involving absolute values. So once students have that worksheet, they're going to be instructed to go to Khan Academy and watch a video on how to solve inequalities. And that will help them work on their worksheet. Once students have finished the worksheet, they're going to come turn in that worksheet, and the teacher is going to assign them one inequality math problem that they need to work out. Once students have worked that math problem out step by step, they're then going to record themselves solving out the math problem and then present that mini video presentation to the class. So essentially they're going to be teaching the class step by step how to solve math inequalities. And in order for students to complete this project, they could either use iMovie or their cell phones to record themselves solving the math problem they were assigned. And at the end of this whole unit, and after students have presented their little mini videos to the class, we're going to play a review session on Kahoot. And this activity is going to support your visual learners, your mathematical logical learners, your interpersonal learners, as well as your verbal learners. So the fourth activity in my unit plan is going to focus on their writing goals. So it's an activity that we do in like English class. So students are going to choose something that interests them or something that impacts their life, and they're going to create a mini essay on that or create a short paragraph talking about that. And once students have completed their paragraph, they're going to summarize that and put it into either a PowerPoint or a Keynote, and they're going to add images to it, music to the background, anything they'd like to make it creative, and then they're going to present that mini essay to the class. And this fourth activity supports the interpersonal, the logical, the visual, kinesthetic, and the musical learners in the class. So the last activity my students are going to be working on in this unit plan is geared towards their behavior goal. So students will be given a scenario of a common everyday event that occurs at school. And in the scenario they are given, the student has responded with inappropriate verbal comments. So they are going to record a short video of how they should have responded using appropriate verbal language and what words or comments they could have used that would have been more appropriate than what was used in the video. And once students have created that, they are going to create a Wordle of appropriate comments and words that they can use when interacting with their peers, responding appropriately to their feelings being hurt or being frustrated. And once they have done that, they're then going to create a QR code to go along with their Wordle that brings students back to their videos that they created in the previous day's class. And this last activity supports the interpersonal learner, the verbal learner, and the visual learner.